On behalf of the Anthropology and Development Studies Cluster, Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, I am Kissa Fatima.
And I, Momin bin Irfan.
From BS Development Studies, Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, Bahria University. We warmly welcome you all to this symposium on increased awareness on indoor air pollution.
Before we formally begin, let us start with a recitation of the Holy Quran, followed by Durood Sharif. I request Qari Bahar Ali to grace the podium for recitation and translation of few verses from the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم शुरू अल्लाह के नाम से जो बड़ा मेहरबान निहायत रहम वाला है। पढ़ो अपने रब के नाम से जिसने पैदा किया, उसने इंसान को जमे हुए खून से पैदा किया। पढ़ो और तुम्हारा रब बड़ा ही करीम है, जिसने कलम के ज़रिए इल्म सिखाया, इंसान को वो कुछ सिखाया जो वो नहीं जानता था। सदक़ल्लाहुल अज़ीम। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व अला आलि मुहम्मद कमा सल्लैता अला इब्राहीम व अला आलि इब्राहीम इन्नका हमीदुम मजीद। अल्लाहुम्मा बारिक अला मुहम्मद व अला आलि मुहम्मद कमा बारकता अला इब्राहीम व अला आलि इब्राहीम इन्नका हमीदुम मजीद।
Jazakallah khair. Now, I request everyone to please rise for the national anthem of Pakistan.
Thank you, everyone. On behalf of Anthropology and Development Studies, Cluster Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, it is indeed an honor to welcome such a diverse gathering of experts, researchers, and faculty and students under one roof today. Your presence reflects the importance of the issue we are here to discuss.
Indoor air pollution is often overlooked, yet it significantly affects our health, comfort, and overall well-being. Through today's sessions, we aim not only to understand its causes and impacts, but to explore practical solutions and strategies that can help create healthier indoor environments for our communities.
I would now like to request Dr. Asiya Ishfaq, Assistant Professor, Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, Bahria University, to share the goal and purpose of the symposium. Ma'am, kindly share the significance of today's event.
Respected guests, distinguished speakers, colleagues, and dear participants, Assalamu alaikum. On behalf of Cluster of Anthropology and Development Studies, Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, Bahria University Islamabad campus, I welcome you all to the symposium on increased awareness on indoor air pollution. It is an honor for me to stand before you today as a focal person of this symposium, which is dedicated to improving health and well-being of human beings. We are gathered here today not only to raise awareness on smoke-filled skies and traffic congestion outside our homes and offices, but also to keep the internal environment clean so that we may flourish as professionals and as part of these families and communities. We can live better lives by mitigating the visible dangers of cooking, fuel, poor ventilation, tobacco smoke, building materials, and household chemicals, the impact of which is detrimental both physically and mentally. Millions of people, particularly in developing regions, are exposed to harmful indoor air without fully understanding the risks. Women, children, and the elderly are especially vulnerable as they spend more time indoors. This symposium aims to bring together experts, policymakers, researchers, and community members to bridge the gap between knowledge and practice, and consequently inspire meaningful change. The highlights of today's symposium are to increase awareness about the sources, risks, and the health impacts of indoor air pollution, to promote knowledge sharing among experts and participants through discussion and interactive sessions, and then to explore sustainable and affordable solutions to the problems we as community face. The symposium will also help us to strengthen partnerships across sectors such as health, environment, education, and policy. And finally, we are hoping that it will motivate behavioral change at the individual and community level. As we move forward with today's sessions, I encourage each of you to actively engage, ask questions, and share your perspectives. Let us use this platform not only to learn, but also to commit to healthier homes, safer environments, and informed communities. Indoor air pollution may be invisible, but our response to it should be visible, strong, and sustained. In the end, I would like to present my sincere gratitude to Dean, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Dr. Farooq Shehzad, Principal, Bahria Humanities and Social Sciences School, Professor Dr. Adam Saud, Head, Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, Dr. Irfan Hussain Koistrani, for enabling us to conduct this symposium. And I am also grateful to our co-host, World University Association for Community Development, Universitas Airlangga, Indonesia, for helping us in this regard. Thank you all for your presence and participation. I look forward for a productive and meaningful symposium. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your insightful remarks.
I would like to invite the principal, Bahria Humanities and Social Sciences School, Professor Dr. Adam Saud, to deliver the welcome address.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, and a very warm welcome to all the participants who have come from different countries, particularly our friends, professors, researchers from Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Bangladesh, and those who have joined us from different cities of Pakistan and different organizations from Pakistan. I'm really grateful to all of you who have spared time, and the association which has collaborated with us to conduct this very important symposium on an issue that is well known to most of the people, but unfortunately it is underrated, because most of the times we talk about the climatic changes and environmental disasters. Being a student of international relations, I myself talk about non-traditional security threats like environmental changes, climatic changes, and their impact on the human security. But unfortunately, I myself have neglected the indoor air pollution that is caused due to different reasons. So I hope that this symposium is going to have an impact on not for the academic and policy making purposes, but obviously kind of awareness among the young people who are actually the masters in their own social circles, and they're going to spread this awareness among their social circles as well. So it's my great honor and privilege to welcome you all to the symposium on increased awareness on indoor pollution that is organized by the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, and obviously, the cluster of Anthropology and Development Studies. I congratulate all of you, all the department and all the team that has contributed. particularly Dr. Saud from the association side and Dr. Asia from our side, So this family collaboration has brought the professional collaboration as well. Thank you very much. We have gathered here today to reflect on an issue that is often invisible yet profoundly impactful: indoor air pollution. While environmental discourse frequently focus on outdoor pollution, the air within our homes, workplace, and institutions remain an under-discussed but critical detriment of health and well-being. As a faculty of the social sciences, we firmly believe that environmental challenges cannot be understood in isolation. Indoor air pollution is not only a scientific or technical issue, it is deeply embedded in social structure, economic realities, cultural practices, and behavioral patterns. It disproportionately affects vulnerable populations, particularly women and children, elderly, and is closely linked to the issues of awareness, access to resources, and policy implementation. This symposium has been thoughtfully designed to provide a multidisciplinary platform where knowledge meets action. Today, we will hear from distinguished national and international speakers who are sitting over here, who will shed light on key themes including the public health implications of indoor pollution, its major sources, gender impacts, community awareness, and sustainable environmental practices. I would also like to make a moment to acknowledge and appreciate the efforts of the organizing team, which I've already. Their dedication to fostering critical dialogue and interdisciplinary engagements is truly commendable. I also extend my appreciation to World University Association for Cultural Community Development, that is WUACD, for their valuable support and collaboration in making this symposium possible. Such partnerships strengthen our collective ability to address complex challenges and amplify the impact of our initiatives. I encourage all the participants to actively engage in today's session, ask questions, share your perspectives, and connect with each other. Let this symposium not only be a space for learning, but also a catalyst for collaboration and meaningful change. I welcome you once again and wish you all a productive, insightful, and enriching experience. I thank you all. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
It is a great privilege to invite our distinguished guest of honor, Dr. Nee Nauman, Executive Secretary, World University Association for Community Development, WUACD Indonesia, to kindly share her views.
I think too high. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So good morning, our honorable distinguished ladies and gentlemen, especially for Professor Dr. Adam Saud, the principal of Bahria Humanities and Social Sciences School, Islamabad campus. So it's really a great honor for me to be here on behalf of WACD. And also thank you for all the hospitality and also the collaboration between WACD and also Bahria University. So on behalf of the president of WACD, my name is Nyoman, just also mentioned by the MC. I'm the executive secretary of WACD, and this association office secretariat in Universitas Airlangga. So we are here to collaborate with the Bahria in the community program, and today is the symposium for indoor air pollution. So I would like to also inform why the WACD and also mentioning about Universitas Airlangga conducting today's program together with the Bahria. So actually our government, so WACD is the Association for Community Development. So we have around 40 universities partner or members, and our program is mainly for priority program on education or like lifelong learning, and also the sustainable economy, health, environment, and related also with the social and multiculturalism. So this is the part of the 10 our international community program. So WACD is not only doing giving the impact for community in Indonesia, but we are also doing the more positive impact to other society and community in the global area, like we do in the 10 program under sponsored by Indonesian government. We call it LPDP. So the logo is in this slide. So the LPDP is under the Ministry of Finance of Indonesia. So they have like endowment funding. So from this funding, they supported 7 universities in Indonesia that already like giving the good impact to the community, so including Universitas Airlangga. So because Universitas Airlangga also part of WACD that have been established in 2018, initiated by 12 founders. It's not only Universitas Airlangga, but there are 12 founders. Part of the 12 founders is come from Malaysia, from Indonesia, initiated by our former rector, Professor Muhammad Dase, and also come from Australia, and also from Thailand. So why then we enlarging this association and then inviting also university from Pakistan? So I think this is very fruitful collaboration, especially for the student who of course will be entering community or work area or anything, will be more social interaction with your society or with your people in Pakistan, or can be also when you're graduate and you will be also have participating or contributing in other international country. So for example, Professor Dr. Saud, he's from Pakistan. He's Universitas Airlangga PhD graduate, maybe 5 years ago, Saud? Yes, 10 years ago. and now he worked as associate professor in Universitas Airlangga, Indonesia. So this is, I think, a really it's mean that we are not only giving the good impact or positive impact to our country, but you can also giving the good impact and also sharing your knowledge and your experience in other country. So WACD will be do for many kind of the activity program, and also looking for like the funding sponsor to do together. It's not only in Indonesia. But the interesting, I'm really appreciate with the Bahria University, because the topic about indoor air pollution, this is the only one topic that happening now in our 10 program. So especially we do like with the social, more in the health, but health it's mean more related to the nutrition, like stunting, and also reducing the mortality of mother and baby. But indoor pollution is really very meaningful among us. So thank you very much for this idea among the couple of Dr. Saud and his wife, Dr. Aisa. It's really, so Alhamdulillah, it's like really a miracle from the God that, yeah, we can be like a family, right? So I also would like to introduce the panelists that part of our WACD expert who joined this program today. So I would like to introduce, because we have 4 project coordinator, and the uniqueness is 4 project coordinator will be elected by all the partner of WACD every 2 years. So the one of the project coordinator also, he is expertise on health and environment. So he's together with us now, Professor Muhammad Aziz. So please stand up. Yeah. He is from Federation University Australia. So he is the one of our project coordinator, and his university also part of our WACD partner. And the second one also together with us from the Philippines, from University of Eastern Visayas State University of the Philippines. This is a new partner of WACD, even though the representative is also a new partner, but he is actively today join with our program. So please welcome Professor Faustito from the Philippines. Yeah. And we have also Malaysian is very important partner with Indonesia, because we are really the same language among us, and also we have many border island among Malaysia side and Indonesia side. Yeah. So we have Professor Siti. He is an expertise on law. Yeah. And also we have from Bangladesh, Dr. Sawar. Yeah. Would you please? He's from Daffodil International University. I think Bangladesh is next of the Pakistan. You are very close each other. And from our university, Universitas Airlangga. Why from Universitas Airlangga is big delegate? Yeah, because we, the responsibility, this program, we got the funding from our government, and together with WACD, with Bahria as part of our partner, also doing this program in this week. So I would like to introduce Dr. Mutakin. He is the Dean from Faculty Social and Political Science, Universitas Airlangga. And Professor Nurul, she is also from the Law Faculty. He is the professor from Universitas Airlangga. He is also head of Quality Assurance Board in Universitas Erlangga. So together with us, we also have Dr. Mahmud. Dr. Mahmud, he is from public health, and his expertise on nutrition. Yeah. And the last one, Dr. Sudarso. He is the head of sociology. Yeah. So with this collaboration, I think we started this symposium, but we hope that in the future, this is not only stop with this program, but we hope that we will continuing sustainability our collaboration, our symposium, and also community development. Of course, especially for the student, to have like learning experience with the society, not only in Pakistan, but also in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in any others country. Why? Because just yesterday, WACD office already inaugurated in OIC Comstack office in Pakistan. So this is a very strategic place for all of you to join WACD program in the future. So thank you very much for all your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, ma'am.
Allah हमें कितना ज़्यादा
Excuse me, everyone, it wasn't an earthquake. The university's generators were starting, actually. Everyone, please settle down. Let's continue the session. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed to the formal lineup of speakers from both international and national institutions, who will share their valuable insights throughout the day. We encourage everyone to actively participate, listen attentively, and make the most out of this learning opportunity.
International institutions include Federation University Australia, Universitas Erlangga Indonesia, and Eastern Visayas State University Philippines.
National institutions include National University of Science and Technology, NUST Islamabad, International Islamic University Islamabad, and OIC Comstack Islamabad.
This symposium has been organized to highlight one of the most overlooked yet critical environmental and public health challenges of our time, indoor air pollution. Its continued effects impact millions of lives, contributing to some serious health risks and long-term environmental consequences.
We hope today's session will not only inform, but also inspire each one of us to take meaningful steps towards a healthier and more sustainable future.
We will now begin session 1 of the symposium. As we proceed, I will have the honor of inviting our esteemed speakers to the stage one by one.
First, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Azizur Rahman, Professor of Public Health, Federation University, Australia. Sir, please join us on the stage.
Now, I invite Dr. Mahmood Aditya Rifki, Vice Dean, Faculty of Public Health, Universitas Airlangga, Indonesia. Sir, kindly join us on the stage.
Thank you, sir. I would also like to invite Professor Faustito A. Ore, Associate Professor, Eastern Visayas State University, Philippines.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Dr. Tawqir Hussain Shah, Head of Department of Development Studies, National University of Science and Technology, NUST, Islamabad. Sir, please join us on the stage.
Next up, I would like to invite Dr. Rabia Ali, Head of the Department of Sociology, International Islamic University, Islamabad. Ma'am, kindly join us and take your seat.
Thank you. Now, I would request Professor Dr. Rita F. Telemonte, Head of Center of Excellence of Gender, Universitas Sumatra Utara, Indonesia, to join the panelists on the stage.
Thank you, ma'am.
Finally, I invite Mr. Muhammad Haris Akram, Program Manager, OIC Comstech, Islamabad. Sir, please join us on the stage.
Now, I would like to invite the moderator of the session 1, Dr. Suhima Anzak, Assistant Professor and Cluster Head of Anthropology and Sociology at the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, Bahria University, Islamabad, to further lead the session. Ma'am, kindly come forward.
Distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, and worthy colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I, Dr. Suhima Anzak, on behalf of Anthropology Cluster, Humanities and Social Sciences Department, had honor of moderating the first session of increased awareness of indoor pollution. So we are going to talk with this worthy panel who has joined from various parts of the world. They have been educating and sharing their experience of research that how indoor air pollution, which was seen as an invisible risk previously, has now created a lot of pressure and burden because air that we breathe in indoor spaces matters more and has impact on our health and well-being. So, as we know, that air pollution is often called as invisible risk. And this invisible risk has profoundly exploring various aspects of our life. It is equally contributing in policy making. It is required to be addressed in sustainable development. And we need to look at this in the perspective that we spend 90% of the time indoor. So we have been talking about the pollution in outdoor spaces where our time is temporarily engaged. But we breathe in our houses, in our communities, and in our workplaces. And those breathing air carries the burden 2 to 5% more as compared to the outdoor air where we engage temporarily. That outdoor air also circulates inside spaces of our houses, our workplaces, and our closed locations, which are seen very safe for all of us, but yet they create a lot of burden. And then we also look that this indoor air pollution replicates very fastly. So I welcome my guests from Australia, Indonesia, Philippines, and Pakistan. And now they will be exploring various dimensions, but the common point for all these experts is that how we can protect ourselves from indoor pollution and how we can raise a better policy to address this challenge that we have seen as an invisible risk. So moving forward, I would request all my panelists to limit their conversation, discussion to 8 to 10 minutes so that we can hear all and we can also address the queries of our audience. So I would move first to Professor Dr. Aziz Rahman, Professor of Public Health at Federation University, Australia, a globally recognized scholar. His work consistently bridges epidemiological rigor with a deep concern of valuable population, making him the ideal voice to open today's conversation on the symposium, Indoor Health and Indoor Pollution and its Health Impacts. Sir, please.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and good morning. So before I say about the health impact, so let me tell you, and thank you very much for the kind introduction. So I'm a public health researcher, so we always depend on the evidence. So I'd just like to share a summary of the evidence. So when you look at the evidence, I'm pretty sure that we look at the top level of evidence. So the evidence that I'm going to share is from the reviews. When you do the systematic review and meta-analysis, combining multiple studies, then we can see, yes, these are the impact. Now this indoor air pollution, before I say about the health impact, so we need to understand how many people are really impacted by this thing. If you look at this thing around the world, 8 billion people, 3.2 billion people unfortunately use the unclean fuel. So that is the biomass and all of this thing that creates indoor air pollution. That is the primary source of this indoor air pollution. Now if you think of this thing, how many people die? The latest data is showing in 2021, 3.1 million people had to face this death due to this indoor air pollution. So this is really huge. And unfortunately, if you look at this thing, there is a global disparity. It's not happening in the same way in the world. Unfortunately, Sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia is really taking the huge burden of this thing. And Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, the subcontinent, where people are really dependent on this fuel, so they are facing the lots of consequence. And previously, at the opening speech, we have listened from the vulnerable population, thinking of the women, thinking of the children. 500,000 people, 500,000 children who are below 5 years of age, they had to face this death. So if you think of this thing, impact, health impact of this thing, that starts from the childhood and goes up to the older age. And if I tell you some of those health impacts starting from the brain, it starts from stroke, cognitive decline. If you look at, go down, then it goes to the eyes, it goes to conjunctivitis, cataract. If you go to the lungs, I'm pretty sure that you can relate this thing with all the respiratory tract infections. Risk of tuberculosis, lung cancer, all of these things are happening due to this indoor air pollution. Unfortunately, the challenge is the non-smoker, specifically the women and the children, they are not smokers. They should not face the burden of indoor air pollution when their husbands are doing this smoking and having this impact of passive smoking. Unfortunately, the death toll due to lung cancer among the non-smoker women is really high. Then if you look at the cardiac disease, cardiac mortality is quite high, hypertension is quite high. All of these things are related to indoor air pollution. And if you think of the mental health, do you know that depression is significantly associated with this indoor air pollution? So sometimes, we just look at this physical impact. When you think of the indoor air pollution, you just think of the lungs. But it's not only the lungs. It impacts all part of the body. Now think of the women who are pregnant. They also face the consequence of this thing because when the child are born, they have the low birth weight, and they also face the stunting, and they also face the infant mortality. So the process and the impact that starts when we are even in the womb. If my mother were exposed to the indoor air pollution, then I'm already impacted. So it starts from when we are in the womb and going up to the elderly. So probably I should stop here. So that impacts the overall spectrum of health disease. It doesn't impact just only the women, children, but across all the age spectrum. So definitely we need to take care of this thing because as Madam has mentioned, sometimes the impact is not immediate. If it is a coronavirus, definitely we would have seen the impact immediately. But the impact of this thing, to have the heart disease, to have the lung disease, to have the cancer, it takes years. So sometimes we ignore all of these things. So definitely all of us need to be aware first, and then we can take actions. Thanks, man.
Thank you very much, Professor Rahman, for setting such a powerful tone. You remind us that health implications are not just statistics, but the lived realities that we are facing as consequences of indoor air pollution. So I would like to ask you a question that if the evidence is so clear, why the air pollution remains so invisible in our health priorities or public health policies?
I think there are policies. So say, for example, I'm coming from Australia. We have the indoor air policies. So definitely when you need to prioritize, it depends on the resources. Sometimes we prioritize the resources for something else. Say, for example, through this symposium, all the participants came to know that, yes, indoor air pollution is an issue. As a public health professional, I know there are multiple issues, but it depends on the priorities. And none of those issues are less important compared to if you think of the death toll. So there is a scope to have the policy. Now, if you think of this thing, the main source of this thing is unclean fuel. Now, yesterday I was talking to a community, and then they said, sir, we can't afford to have the clean energy. We can't afford to switch to the gas. We can't afford to switch to the electricity. So it's not only on them, because I do understand there's a constraint. So the government and the NGOs need to come forward to think of this thing. But at first, they need to think of within the limited resources, what is feasible to do. So I tell to the people, look, yes, you can't change the fuel, but what you can do, you can take the other aspect. Open your windows, have a clean ventilation, remove your child, be an advocate so your husbands don't smoke. Because you are really powerful, and I was addressing all the women there. So it's really important to think of, within the limited resource, what is feasible to do. And all the policymakers need to come forward to think of, yes, we need to take some action, and then probably there'll be some change. Thank you.
Building on the foundation, we will move to our next speaker who carries the conversation that how the disease burden for the long term will be carried on because of this indoor air pollution. The air we breathe indoor matters more than ever. So I invite Dr. Muhammad Aditya. He is the Vice Dean of Faculty of Public Health of Universitas Airlangga, Indonesia, one of the most valued partners of today's symposium. His scholarship sits at the intersection of public health, nutrition, as well as chronic disease in Southeast Asia. He is going to speak on indoor air pollution and non-communicable disease. Sir, please.
Yes. Yes, thank you very much, Doctor, our moderator. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Mahmud Aditya Rifki. I'm from Department of Nutrition, Faculty of Public Health, Universitas Airlangga, Indonesia. So my talk today, I would like to continue that have already mentioned by Prof. Aziz about the linkage between air pollution, indoor air pollution with the public health problem. So I would like to invite you to reflect on a critical, increasing complex challenge in global health and public health, how we address non-communicable disease risk through a more integrated and holistic approach, specifically by linking nutrition, water, sanitation, and hygiene, or we call it WASH, and indoor air pollution or air quality. As we know that non-communicable disease or NCDs, including cardiovascular disease, diabetes, chronic respiratory disease, and cancer, are now the leading cause of death globally. According to WHO, they account for more than 70% of all death worldwide. And what is striking is that many of these conditions actually are preventable, yet our approach to prevention often remains fragmented. Traditionally, we tend to focus on individual behavior such as diet, physical activity, smoking, alcohol consumption. While these are important, they don't fully capture the broader context in which people live. Health risks are not health risks are not isolated. They are shaped by interconnected environment and social determinants. This is why integrated approach becomes very important. Let me begin with nutrition, which is often considered the cornerstone of NCD's prevention. Unhealthy diet, we can say that high in sugar, high consumption of salt, unhealthy fats are strongly associated with obesity, hypertension, overweight, metabolic disorder. At the same time, in many low and middle income countries, including Indonesia, undernutrition remains a persistent issue. This creates what we call the double burden malnutrition, or later we call it triple burden malnutrition. So where undernutrition and overnutrition coexist within the same population, sometimes even within the same household. However, nutrition is not only about what we eat, it's also about how the body absorbs and utilizes nutrient. And this is why where water, sanitation, hygiene play a crucial role. Next, I would like to continue to the wash variable. We know that poor wash conditions significantly increase the risk of infectious disease, particularly diarrhea. We know that diarrhea is not non-communicable disease. Diarrhea is an infectious disease. However, its impact extends far beyond acute illness. Repeated episodes of diarrhea lead to the loss of essential nutrient, damage the intestinal lining, and impair nutrient absorption. Over time, this contributes to the chronic undernutrition. In children, frequent diarrhea is closely linked to stunting, wasting, underweight, a condition that reflects not only impaired growth but also long-term metabolic changes. Evidence suggests that individuals who experience undernutrition and stunting early life are more likely to develop obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease later in adulthood. In this way, diarrhea becomes part of longer pathway that increase the risk of NCDs across the life course. In addition, poor access to clean water can influence dietary behavior. When the safe drinking water is not readily available, individuals might rely more on packaged or sugar-sweetened beverage consumption, with this further increase the risk of NCDs. Now, I will move to indoor air pollution or air quality, which is often overlooked by highly significant. Indoor air pollution arises from multiple sources that have already mentioned by professors before, because, including the solid fuels of cooking, poor ventilation, and importantly, tobacco smoke or smoking. Smoking is frequently framed as individual choice, so someone can choose become a smoker or not. But in the reality, it's also shared exposure to the family, to children, to mother. So we know that secondhand smoke or passive smoking expose other family members, especially women and children, to harmful pollutants on daily basis. This exposure associated with chronic respiratory disease, cardiovascular disease, increased cancer risk. Beyond this well-known effect, indoor air pollution also interact with nutritional status. Children who are exposed to smoke are more likely to suffer from recurrent infection, reduced appetite, impaired nutrient absorption. Over time, this can contribute to undernutrition. At the same time, a respiratory infection caused by polluted indoor air can increase the body's metabolic demand while reducing food intake. This creates a negative energy balance, further worsening nutritional status. In this way, indoor air pollution contributes not only directly to NCDs but also indirectly to its impact on malnutrition. So if we take a step further, we also need to consider the urban context, that when we step back and look at the bigger picture, we begin to see how these factors are deeply interconnected. Poor water lead to repeated infection, such as diarrhea, which impair nutritional status. Indoor air pollution increase respiratory illness, which also affect nutrient utilization and overall health. Poor nutrition, in turn, weaken the immune system, making individual more vulnerable to both infection and infectious disease. Beyond that, we must strengthen community empowerment. Communities should not only be recipient of intervention, but also active participant in designing and sustaining them. Local knowledge, cultural practice, social play a crucial role in shaping behavior related to food, hygiene, and household environment. And finally, we must consider equity. The burden of NCDs as well as underlying risk factor we have discussed disproportionately affect the most vulnerable population. An integrated approach help ensure the intervention are more inclusive and more responsible to the reality of these communities. So in conclusion, addressing non-communicable disease risk require us to move beyond isolated strategies, fragmented strategies. Nutrition, water, and indoor air pollution are closely linked, and their combined effect shape health outcome across the life course. By adopting an integrated approach, we can break the cycle of infection and malnutrition, reduce environmental exposure, and ultimately prevent the growing burden of NCDs. This is not only public health necessity, it's also an investment in the future, healthier generation. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rifki. You have reminded us that non-communicable diseases is not a medical issue only, but it is also an environmental issue. So I would like to ask you a question that if we need to handle it through policy making, along with some architects, some engineers, to design our houses and our communities and workplaces in such a way that these safe places, which we refer as our homes, should be not harming our health anymore.
Yes, thank you very much for the question. I think it's a problem, especially in the crowded place, urban slum area, when they have they don't have access to clean water, they don't have access to good sanitation, and also like good ventilation, air quality. So we need to consider about it. Yes, I agree with you that we need multi-sector approach, like from public health, also from social factor, also from engineering sector, that how to make the community become safe. We have to educate them with the healthier behavior, like how to clean their hand, how to wash their hand, and how to prepare the food for their children clean, and also to minimize the contamination for the children. And also about the smoking, I think it's important for us to educate the people that actually we cannot allow people smoking inside the room, inside the house. But yeah, we can educate them. We can share to the parents that if they want to smoke, please do it outside the home. So it will minimize the effect to the children and the future generation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we need to build new norms. Cultural norms needs to be revised. We need to engage our engineers who build such architect which can create a safe indoor air or a better indoor ventilation points. Now we have heard about what and why. Now we turn toward the question that how do we reach the people who need this knowledge most? For this, I would like to invite Professor Faustito. He is an associate professor at Eastern Visaya State University, Philippines. His work is in rural development that bridges the gap between scholarship and the grassroots realities, working with the communities and not simply on them. How we raise awareness and how we access them. Sir, please.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Can I please request Madam Moderator to allow me to use the podium, if you don't mind? Thank you. Okay, good morning, everyone. Hello? Okay, I would like to just engage our audience. In the Philippines, when we see in occasions like this, some students yawning, what we do is like, I would say hi, and the audience would say hello. And if I say hello, the audience should say hi. Can we do that? Hi. Hello. Hello, hello. Hi, hi. Applause for everyone, please. In behalf of the 170 million Filipinos, I would like to bring their greetings of peace to everyone here. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. My topic this morning is about invisible threats, raising awareness on indoor air pollution in rural communities. Once again, a pleasant morning to all of us. Let me begin with a simple but powerful image. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, imagine a mother in a rural home preparing food for her family. She lights a fire using wood or charcoal inside a small kitchen. The smoke slowly fills the room. Her child sits nearby, breathing in the same air. There's no alarm, no warning sign, nothing that tells them they are in danger. And yet, with every breath, their health is quietly being affected. This is the reality of indoor pollution, an invisible threat that continues to impact millions of people, especially in rural communities. Thank you. Hello. Hello. Am I heard? Hello? Okay. Indoor air pollution refers to harmful substances present in the air inside our homes. This include smoke from cooking using firewood, charcoal, or other biomass fuels, even dust and mold, and even chemical fumes from household products like in the Philippines, you have Sunrocks, those cleaning materials in our toilets. Globally, around 2.1 billion people still rely on polluting fuels like food, charcoal, and crop waste for cooking. And here, in our country, the Philippines, the situation is very, very familiar, especially in rural and coastal communities when traditional cooking methods remain widely practiced. But why really it matters in rural communities? When I said we are 170 million, 70 million or 70% of our total population lives in the rural areas. That's why this really matters. In rural settings, the risk is significantly higher. Many households cook in enclosed spaces with limited airflow. Kitchens may not have chimneys or proper ventilation systems. In fact, Studies conducted in rural areas of the Philippines show that exposure to harmful pollutants supply or spikes during cooking, with carbon monoxide levels reaching up to 200 parts per million in some homes. This means that even if the air seems normal, most of the day, the danger becomes intense during cooking hours. And because cooking is a daily activity, exposure to indoor air pollution is not occasional. Rather, it is continuous. Women and children are the most affected because they spend the most time near the cooking area. Now, let us talk about what the exposure does to the human body. This has been expounded already by our earlier speakers. But nevertheless, indoor air pollution can cause respiratory infections, chronic coughing, asthma, and eye irritation. But beyond that, the impact is much more serious. Globally, household air pollution is responsible for approximately 2.9 million deaths every year, including hundreds of thousands of young children. It is also linked to major diseases such as stroke, heart disease, chronic lung disease, and lung cancer. Let me make this more relatable. Some experts say that daily exposure to indoor cooking, smoke can be equivalent to smoking several cigarettes a day. So what we often dismiss as ordinary smoke is actually a major health risk. So at this point, we might ask, if the risks are so serious, why does the problem continue? The answer is not really that simple. First, there are economic limitations. Cleaner fuels and technologies are not always affordable or accessible. Second, there are cultural practices. Cooking with firewood or charcoal is not just a habit. It is a tradition passed from one generation to the next. Third, there is lack of awareness. Many families do not realize that the smoke inside their homes can contain harmful particles at the levels of up to 100 times higher than what is considered safe in poorly ventilated spaces. So, this is not about blaming communities. It is about understanding the realities and working with them. But there is a good news, my friends. The good news is that solutions do exist, and many are simple and practical. Let me cite a few. At the household level, improving ventilation, adding windows or more vents. Cooking outdoors or in open spaces can also be done. Using improved cook stoves or cleaner fuels. Maybe we can request our students with the mentorship of our faculty members, if you have engineering courses here, maybe you could start inventing new cook stoves or cleaner fuels. Even small actions like keeping children away from smoke can already save lives. At the community level, awareness campaigns. Maybe our students can also work together in convocations or other school activities to help disseminate awareness campaigns. We demonstrate safer cooking practices and local innovations for low-cost, clean stoves. At the institutional level, support for clean energy programs, subsidies for cleaner cooking technologies, partnerships among government universities and national government organizations. Studies show that switching to clean fuels can reduce harmful pollutants by as much as 85%, significantly improving indoor air quality. Now, what is the role of education and community engagement? As someone involved in community development, I strongly believe that real change begins with awareness and is sustained through participation. People change not because they are told to change, but because they understand why it matters. This is where schools, local leaders, health workers, and even radio programs can play a powerful role. We must not only inform, but we must engage. We must not only educate, but we must empower. Let me end with this thought. Clean air should not be a privilege. It is a basic human right. Indoor air pollution may be invisible, but its impact is real, but measurable and preventable. The fight against it does not begin in laboratories or policymakers. It begins in our homes, in our kitchens, in our communities. Today, as we raise awareness, let us also commit to action. I would like to encourage everybody, students, faculty members, policymakers, school officials, to work together for this cause. Today, we raise awareness by committing to action once again, because in the end, every breath matters. Thank you very much. Once again, hello. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Fostito, for the insightful speech on raising awareness on indoor air pollution in the rural communities. Thank you so much for educating us that awareness can be raised by engaging with the people and making them learn in their context that what can cause air pollution. Maybe they are watching and they are surviving in all those pollutants, but without any awareness. So when we engage them in their community, being an anthropologist, I really praise your ideas that engaging and talking to them in their language will build more awareness among the rural community members. Thank you so much for your insightful speech. So, with a famous quote that be a part of solution, not a pollution. If awareness is seen as the first step, then behavioral change is going to bridge knowing and doing. And this is where our next speaker is going to talk about, Dr. Taqir Hussain Shah. I welcome you here. He is an assistant professor and head of Department of Development Studies at NUST, NAST, Pakistan. His deep engagement with the community level interventions make him uniquely positioned to speak on the realities of changing behavior in our local context. Dr. Taqir, please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Respected principal, international guests, faculty member, my panelists and student, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. When I was assigned this topic to talk about behavioral change from community, traditionally we deal with different approaches, and those approaches are mainly around how we create knowledge among communities. And if we take stock of those community, what I observe that is mostly focused on rural development. Though there is no dichotomy that this indoor pollution is only an urban problem. But what I observe that in our academia, especially I'm a student of sociology and cultural anthropology, when we are dealing with communities, mostly traditionally we deals with participatory action research, community-based participation, collaborative betterment model, community empowerment model, rapid rural appraisal, and participatory rural appraisal. So, though there is no dichotomy that urban issues are different and rural issues are different, but when it comes to indoor pollution, I think this urban link is missing. And as a student of social sciences, because my target audience is student here from social sciences mainly, when we are dealing with social problems, we deals at different levels. And mostly in Pakistani academia, we deals with macro level analysis and micro level analysis. There is a missing link to understand this issue, and that is a meso level analysis, especially when it deals with community. So I would take a few minutes to discuss about this missing link to mitigate this social issue. When it comes to meso level analysis, it engages community, neighborhood, and institutional levels. For example, these institutions like schools or other housing neighbors, housing authorities, workplaces, local governments, they can directly influence indoor environment. For example, they can enforce building standard, improve ventilation system, and regulate the use of clean fuels or safer materials in homes and public buildings. So this is an important link we must focus on to mitigate this social problem. Another key importance is awareness and behavioral change at scale. For example, community programs can educate groups of people about risks from sources like solid fuel cooking, tobacco smoke, or poor ventilation. So we must focus on this in urban setting. Yes, and this is often more effective than targeting individuals only one by one because social norms shift collectively. So definitely focus should be on individuals or some families, but we must focus on our institutions. So institutions can have more effects on these issues. Similarly, at meso level also enables resource sharing and infrastructure development. That is most important indicator while discussing this topic. Communities can organize access to cleaner technologies like improved cook stoves or air purifiers, waste management system, or shared energy solutions that individuals might not afford alone. There is the important role of institutions because a strong governor with responsible communities, this is most important. And let me clear one thing that definitely governance is important, but structural problems need structural solutions. We can create awareness, but we need strong governance. We need strong implementation of laws because, yes, through awareness campaigns or through our seminars or conferences, we can improve our situation, but structural problems need structural solutions, and that structural solution is effective implementation of our rules and strong governance. So it's also important for monitoring and enforcement. That's an important point. Indoor air pollution varies depending on housing type, climate, and cultural practices. When it comes to culture, that's very important because you have norms, folkways, norms, values plays an important role in this regard. Community level interventions can be tailored to local needs rather than relying on one size fits all national policy. So when we are taking this approach in context of community development, so bottom-up approach and trickle-down. So in national or international mega projects, yes, trickle-down approach is effective, but if we are dealing with behavioral change, we are dealing with the communities, especially at local level, we must deal with the bottom-up approach. So through bottom-up approach, we can effectively utilize these 6 traditional approaches which I talked about, especially the participatory rural appraisal. So though the nomenclature of this is more focused on rural, but we can implement or apply this approach to urban setting as well. And lastly, I would like to focus on a technique that is transit walk. You walk through the community and take stock of the issues and problems. These are more infrastructural issues, but we can employ this technique in our indoor policies as well, and while including local communities and especially the household head. And finally, the meso level supports context-specific solutions. Indoor pollution varies depending on housing type, climate, and culture practice, as I told you. In short, the meso level is important because it turns broad policies into practical action while influencing groups of people in way individuals alone cannot. So I would conclude with this sentence that we need strong governance with responsible community. So I'm looking for your comments and questions from students. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Toki, for your insightful views on how we can work on behavior change. That behavior change is not imposed, but it is cultivated by gaining conversation, gaining the trust of the people, and building a patient relationship, communication, and connectivity. So as Professor Fustito has also communicated in the same way, that engagement is very much necessary. So do you think that household risk, people are aware of it, and they know that how they can improve, but they cannot afford the alternatives? So if they cannot afford the alternatives, we cannot put the burden of behavior change directly onto the individuals only. Do you think then who is going to look forward to this, and how we can address to the behavior change at a larger level?
Thank you so much. That's a very important question. As I started my talk with meso-level analysis. So meso-level analysis is shifting all responsibility to institutions. Definitely when we are dealing with micro-level analysis, macro-level analysis, more structural, more international organization are involved, international policies are there, more broader governance level. Individuals, definitely we can't put burden on individuals. It needs different. For example, that's why meso level focus on schools, trainings, neighborhoods, communities. We cannot put burden on only on individuals, but if we involve our schools early at schooling level, if they create awareness among our students, it involves community. Through community programs, we engage people and we create awareness through neighborhoods at large. So we can create some awareness campaign through some mega events and some sports event as well. We can involve our communities and household individuals in this important decision making. And definitely I agree on this point. We can't put the burden on individual because individual is not responsible. That's why the meso is a missing link in our policy. So that's my focus today. Discussion is on organizations. We are always very fast to put all burden on government or broader structural issues, or we always here to blame individuals. Yes, individuals are not responsible. So here is the missing level of meso connection. We can create awareness through communities and through neighborhoods.
Thank you, Dr. Tawqir. We now turn the conversation towards the dimensions that are usually very much affected because indoor air pollution time period taken up mostly by the gender dimensions. So I would like to invite our next speaker, Dr. Rabia Ali, Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Sociology and Director of Graduate Studies at International Islamic University, Islamabad. One of the Pakistan's leading sociological voices on gender and everyday life, her scholarship illuminates the labor, the spaces, and the inequalities women navigate within Pakistani household. So I would like her to invite on the gender dimension of indoor air pollution. Ma'am, please.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone, and assalamu alaikum. I would like to start by thanking the organizers of Bahria University and the international collaborators for giving me this opportunity. It's an absolute pleasure to be part of this panel. And the earlier presentations were very educating. I learned a lot, from them, and I'm going to build on that. So I've been asked to speak on gender dimension of air pollution, especially indoor air pollution. And as a sociologist, when I speak of gender, then definitely, this term includes both men, women, as well as transgender. But considering my own positionality, I think since this time duration is very short, I'm just going to focus on women, because my scholarship is on gender justice, and I'm more interested on, the inequalities faced by women, especially in the Pakistani context. So I'm going to briefly focus on 3 areas when I speak about gender. Some of them were already discussed earlier on regarding health, so I'm not going to go deep into that. But to me, the very important thing, especially in respect of Pakistani society, is the gendered division of labor. because in Pakistan we know that the domestic labor is largely, borne by the women. So women are responsible for cooking, for cleaning, and especially in the rural areas when we speak about, they are the ones who are fetching water, they are the ones who are collecting the firewood, from different parts of the villages. And so I think that puts a lot of burden on them. But then ultimately this is something which they have to bear within the houses as well. And I think this is equally important for those women who are living in the cities as well, because even in the urban areas, like Dr. Tokir was speaking about this meso level, I totally agree with you. And I think this is very much reflected in our kitchen. Infrastructure was discussed earlier on. Our infrastructure is, it's not supporting, the kind of pollution sort of which has been generating. It is not sort of, helping us to overcome those issues. So I think these are very important, and I think that women have to ultimately bear this burden. Why? Because women are the ones who are in those kitchens, right? But I do acknowledge here that, yes, there are many men who are working in hotels, there are many men who are working in those, unsafe environments, cooking, as well. They are also facing that. But ultimately, when we speak about, the majority of the population, it's the women who are actually bearing it. And since I'm a sociologist, so I do not speak without evidence. And I have lots of statistics here, but I'm just going to briefly communicate a few from a very recent study, 2020 study conducted by Habib et al., from Pakistan, since I'm speaking for Pakistani women. And this data shows that 92% of households in Pakistan cook indoors, and 29% of the households report indoor smoking every day. So smoking was, discussed earlier on, but this is specifically focusing women because they are the ones who are bearing this pressure. And then again, these are very alarming for me because 45% of the household use wood and 48% use LPG. So here I feel that, the kind of class also matters a lot, and this is something which I would like to touch on later as well. It's different for rural and urban areas, but then ultimately the class where you're coming from matters a lot in terms of how much you are suffering, in terms of gender as well. So gender division of labor, I think, there are many ways we can overcome it, and definitely I will come back to my earlier speakers. Dr. Tokir spoke about norms, so I think the attitude should be changed, but then, the environment should be conducive, in terms of how we are looking at, more help at hand, maybe for the women. The second thing I wanted to focus on was health. Health was discussed earlier. Professor Aziz spoke a lot about, all those impacts on health and, strokes and cardiovascular diseases. And I also have a WHO report from 2025, which shows that long-term exposure to household air pollution is contributing to, several chronic diseases, but then how it is different for women, so that is also something which is gendered. And in this respect, again, a recent study from 2026 evidences that there are links between indoor pollution and adverse birth outcomes, so those women who are pregnant, they are in that unsafe environment, and then of course ultimately it's not just affecting them, but it is also affecting the newborns during pregnancy and after childbirth as well. So in short, this indoor pollution is really, I think, a significant economic drain on nations, especially Pakistan, and of course others as well, like us, who are facing these issues with the infrastructure and the problems related with gender. And the last thing which I would like to briefly touch upon, considering the time frame, is since again this comes from sociology, we always like to, Dr. Tokir also knows, and that we like to discuss things from an intersectional lens, So not only why things are happening, but then how they are overlapping and how they can be sort of, and that helps us, that kind of solution. So I already spoke about class and space, and I think that this class and this space in terms of where those women are is really important. So we cannot compare the experiences of living in slum, areas in Islamabad to those women who are perhaps in the middle class, again coming back to your discussion on meso level, and then, the lower class women. So they all have different experiences which need to be taken care of in a different way, So it's very difficult to sort of think of in holistic way when we want to, think about the solutions to them. And then I also think that energy crisis plays a very important role in this regard, in the sense that we often, talk about providing, relief to them. And to me, as a sociologist, this is also a kind of, there was a period called Women in Development. In development, those scholars who are aware of those periods, women in development, women and development, gender and development. So I think we are still thinking along those lines. So just providing cooking stuff doesn't help if they do not have access to energy, LPG, So they are ultimately going back to that, wood or any other, traditional things which they were using for cooking. So I think it wouldn't really help. So we really need to think out of the box in terms of, how we connect all these different, disciplines. We spoke about education, we spoke about governance, and ultimately think about, different ways we can really, and to me, in terms of gender, how we can help in the gender division of labor. I really think that, transitioning to clean energy could be a solution, but then, how? Why it is different for women? Because I'm again going back to your discussion on rural areas when you said that women go to fetch those woods. So if we have access to that, then perhaps that's going to help them in reducing that time they spend on collecting that fuel, And then encouraging the use of efficient energy sources. Solar is very popular in Pakistan. But then ultimately then class comes back, how many people have access to class, how many women have access to that energy, solar energy, So these are the things we should be thinking about, in gender dimension. And then also reducing dependence on crops, firewood and animal waste could again, help. But then there would be many hows and buts in terms of, where do we start, Is it the education, is it the training? But ultimately, if I have to, conclude with one word, I think it would be really to change the attitude of people. And again, going back to the previous scholars, not giving the responsibility to individuals, So it's, I think, a collective responsibility, and we definitely need to, think about it in a holistic way. Like isme again, I think from gender perspective, I think men should also be more sort of, sensitive to how they can, come into, sort of help women when it comes to the kitchen. So something which we have been debating for years, but I don't know how many years more will it take to really achieve that end. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rabia, for your insightful discussion on gender dimension of indoor air pollution. It tells us that women are not simply the victim, but also can be agency through their knowledge, and they can also build valuable information for improvement in indoor air pollution. So, don't you think that where is the missing link between the gender and policy? There is a missing link between the gender and policy.
There is a definitely missing link, and that's why I think I agree with Dr. Tokir on this meso level of, analysis where we can actually, so if the education institutes do not sort of contribute in critically thinking about what can be done, then definitely it will not be, I think, reflected in the policies. So yes, I agree with your question.
Thank you very much. Now we move towards another perspective. We have learned that household is a prime area where indoor pollution is creating burden on our health and on our well-being. So, extending our lens towards another vital side of indoor air exposure, the small enterprise, the workshop, and the micro business, where livelihood and air quality often sits in uneasy negotiation. So, Professor Dr. Rita, I would invite you to speak on this. She is the head of Center of Excellence of Gender at Universitas Sumatera Utara and Indonesia. She brings together two strands rarely in conversation: gender studies and small enterprises, how they communicate and interact with each other. And these interventions are equally important to understand about the indoor air pollution impact on our well-being. Thank you very much. Please start.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable Professor Adam Saud and distinguished about the everybody in here, and Dr. Sohima. It's nice to meet you. Okay, I want to discuss about the environmental awareness and green practice in women-led enterprise, the role of women entrepreneur orientation as business performance. Okay. No song? Okay. The global shift towards sustainable development has shifted the entrepreneur paradigm, a plurally oriented, profit-oriented approach to one that integrates economic, social, environment aspect. In the context environment awareness, the adaptation of green in micro and small enterprise. This transformation is driven not only by external pressures such as regulation and consumer preference, but also by business owner internal awareness of the importance of environmental sustainability. This particularly relevant from home-based or indoor business, which may face indoor air pollution issue, terribly necessitating more environmental friendly business practice. But it is Dr. Rabia said about the gender, but it's not only a gender, but it's a habit in economic microfinance. In recent decades, attention to the role of women entrepreneurs in Indonesia, especially is not Sumatra. It is my research last year in a coastal area. Entrepreneur is promoting sustainability has grown significantly. Women entrepreneurs not only contribute to the economic growth, but also demonstrate a more inclusive, ethical, and community-oriented approach to running their business. Research indicates the women-led entrepreneurs are more likely to integrate environmental awareness into business practice, such as waste management, production, process innovation, and engagement in community-based activities. This suggests that women entrepreneurs have significant potential as agent of change in promoting sustainable business practice. Environmental awareness play a fundamental role in shaping environmentally responsible business behavior. Business with a high level of environmental awareness tend to better understand the impact of their business activities on the environmental and are committed to reducing those negative impacts. Furthermore, environmental awareness is influenced by intrinsic motivation, such as personal values and a commitment to sustainability, as well as extrinsic motivations such as market pressures and government policies. This environmental awareness serves a key driver in adaptation of eco-friendly production. The implementation of green practice is business has been shown the profit first benefits, but both environmental and economically. Practice such as use of eco-friendly materials, energy efficiency, and waste management can improve operational efficiency and reduce long-term costs. Green practice also contribute to enhancing corporate image, consumer trust, and competitive advantage. Implementation of green practice is often combined with community-based approach and the circular economy, particularly in developing countries facing resource constraints. However, the adaptation of green practice is not without challenge, such as financial constraints, lack of access to technology, and institutional and infrastructure barriers. Therefore, support in the form of training, partnership, and financing innovation is needed to extend women entrepreneurs' capacity to implement environmental friendly practice. The digital divide poses a distinct challenge in integrating technology innovation into sustainable business practice. On the other hand, the success of women entrepreneurs is improving business performance is greatly influenced by their entrepreneurial characteristics, especially their women entrepreneur orientation. The concept is an extension of entrepreneur orientation, encompassing dimension of innovation, proactive risk-taking, automatic, competitive risk, and influenced not only by individual factors such as personality, but also by culture, context, and social support. Research indicates the woman entrepreneur with a high entrepreneur orientation. Thank you.
That's very insightful, Dr. Rita. That we usually take account on pollution with the high industries or larger industries. So green practices adopting at the small enterprise accounts a lot.
Yes.
And these family enterprises also need to account. The small drops of awareness can bring a large change, and that large change is going to influence our overall well-being.
But I think the small entrepreneur woman, I'm sorry. The government support is very important to give their literacy about the awareness.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Although you have made a brief discussion, yet your point is very clear that green initiatives in small industries account a lot on indoor pollution, because again, when we talk about industry, we talk about pollution, how they create the environmental impact and destroy the environment. But we need to account on these small enterprises, and we look forward to the change in indoor air pollution in these small enterprises. Now I'd like to invite Muhammad Haris Akram, is a program manager at OIC Comstech, the Standing Committee on Scientific and Technological Cooperation of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. His work sits in the intersection of science, policy, international cooperation across OIC member states. Sir, you are going to build insights on sources of indoor air pollution in the developing countries. So that also is another dimension of indoor air pollution. We would like to hear from you.
Thank you. I would like to first thank the senior management of Bahria University and the organizing team for inviting me, and especially the delegation from different countries here. I represent OIC Comstech, which is the second largest international organization after UN, with 57 member countries and 5 observer countries. So we span from east to west, starting from Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, Bangladesh. We have few countries in the Arab region as well. We have 9 countries in Central Asia. We have 21 countries in Africa, who are member of OIC. And we do have 2 countries from Latin America as well. So we have a very diverse landscape of member countries. So today, because I myself am not an academician, so I'll be presenting a very different perspective on not only indoor air pollution, but it's like an overarching thematic division on environment and climate change both. So we at Comstech actually have a Comstech Forum on Environment and Ecosystem Restoration, under which we do a lot of capacity building, trainings, workshop, and other activities as well. So actually, I want to give you a glimpse of how these member countries play a role, or how these challenges are attributed to these countries. Starting from that 57 countries, they only contribute to 17% of GHG emissions globally. So we are not contributors, but on the other hand, when we see the climate vulnerability index for OIC, 20 countries are among the top 50 countries. So we are the ones who are hit the most. So I think we had different panelists talking about different perspectives of scientific backgrounds with inclusion of gender also. So when we see this, I'll also give you one other statistic, that how the change in population is affecting this climate change and environment. Because initially, 100 years ago, we were very less population. Now we are crossing 10 billion population. So I think as the time passes, there would be a lot of burden of population also, the intensity of how we are harming the nature. So these are few of the insights which I wanted to share. The other one is that how renewable, we had an input from energy sector also, that renewable energy only contributes 4% from the OIC country. So I think that can also be one of the inclusions into this segment. As I represent a scientific network, which is OIC Comstech, so I think the role of these scientific networks is very important. One of the key indicators can be science diplomacy and science communication. As academicians, I think we can play a vital role in the awareness part, the attitudes we carry, how we can train our youth for these. Then, as we are a science technology innovation organization, so I think there is a component of technology also, integrating technology to cater to all these challenges. We also are working on a framework we call as the quadruple helix model, in which we engage academia, governments, industry, and the last component we engage community as well. So I think because community is engaging the community is the low-hanging fruit. We start from there. We do the scientific part with academia. We involve government for policy, and then the industry is there for technology integration to these solutions. So I think the role of scientific networks is very important, and I think we can assist all these academic institutions, scientists, policy makers for resolving these challenges. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We have learned that technology can improve the indoor quality and also reduce the use of fuels by incorporating some new inventions and interventions. We can improve the air quality index. But as you have talked about few solutions, so are we still working in isolation, or do you think that a regional collaboration can build more solutions to the air quality index improvement and indoor pollution resistance?
I think we are still in isolation because we have a very diverse span of countries. We see a lot of countries from east to west. I'll give you an example of Nepal and Bhutan. For clean cooking, they have a very good program. for clean cooking. I think that can be replicated in other countries as well, including Pakistan, because in the remote areas we still have that they're using wood as a primary source for cooking. So I think these corporations learning from, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. I think we can learn from experiences around the world. I'll give you an example of from Africa as well. So they are using a lot of biomass, which is like, it's sort of carbon neutral source. Sometimes because they are using some scientific innovations while using it. So I think international cooperation is very important for learning from each other. Thank you.
So that's an important take from you, that we need collaboration, regional collaboration, global collaboration to the interventions. Okay. So now I would like to invite Mr. Muhammad Sarwar Hussain, Associate Dean, Faculty of Health and Life Sciences, Daffodil Universities, Dhaka, Bangladesh. Sir, please come to the rostrum, speaking on awareness activities, on indoor awareness.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. I am on behalf of the audience, because I am not expert regarding this issue. I am expert of molecular genetics. But as an audience, what I learned, just I will share my some realizations on behalf of the audience. So thank you, distinguished guest, honorable scholars, and my beloved student. Assalamu alaikum. Myself, Dr. Muhammad Sarwar Hussain, Associate Dean, Faculty of Health and Life Science, Daffodil International University, Bangladesh. So we know a message. If the knowledge in the book or the wealth in hand of others, it will not be applicable when it requires. So my point, actually what message we are taking from this session. Our distinguished speakers, they said the causes, concerns, policies for creation awareness of the indoor air pollution. But actually, what are you taking this message? Suppose my house is burning. So what will you do? Will we wait for the rain or for the others? Or we should try by ourselves to provide water to the fire. So I understand actually this is a last message for us, because indoor air pollution is very much bad for our health, our society. So what will you do from our side? Suppose after completing this seminar, we will go, oh, so hot, so please 2 or 3 ice cream. Then we will go to our room and then, billions of microorganisms will enter to our room. And if we have baby, they will attack or affected by this microorganism. Another point, there is a lot of mosquito. So what will you do? Close all the door, windows and everything. Then mosquito coil burn. We saw in the advertisement, it keeps S-biothrin. That is not bad for health. But only S-biothrin is here. There is a lot of chemical component. And in the morning, when you will see a mosquito is sleeping and playing on the coil. Actually, this mosquito is not done anything against the coil. It does harmful thing to you, me, and others. So, to keep the air good, fit for health or fresh, we need to take some necessary steps from this conference. We should take the message. We will not wait for the others, but we will connect ourselves with the policymakers, with the institutions, with the expert. How can we do that? But we should start by ourselves at first. A practice makes a man perfect. The women who are cooking their food by using gas. Sometimes, oh, we don't have time, so please increase the power. And maximum 60% to 70% actually not burn. This gas makes the pollution of indoor air. So this is very much harmful for us. So finally, thanks to the all expert. Actually, I learned many things from you, and my message to you, whatever we can do from our side, we should start from now. We should not forget. We should take the message to our mind. We should do for ourselves, for others, our neighbors, and next for the nation. So thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's session has brought together a remarkable spectrum of perspectives from public health to social dimensions, from rural awareness to enterprise sustainability, from gender to global policy, and to the multi-dimensional understanding of indoor air pollution, where we need collaboration, engagement, and awareness. So they have given you awareness on indoor air pollution, its impact on our well-being and on our health and our own daily life. Now I open the floor for your perspectives, and if you want to ask, please make a to-the-point question to the panelists on indoor air pollution. Please raise your hand. The floor is open to the audience. From your seat, please. First, introduce yourself, and then you can ask the question, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Murad Jan. I'm from BA second semester International Relations. So my question is that approximately 28,000 deaths are caused in Pakistan annually due to indoor air pollution. But why our government is not treating indoor air pollution as a pandemic? I need the reason why that our government is not considering indoor air pollution is still a pandemic. Thank you.
Your question is to whom?
Anyone.
Okay.
Sorry.
The question is that if indoor pollution is so significant, why the government has not addressed seriously to this question?
Yeah, thank you so much for this question. I would like to address this. Actually, again, I would start from my earlier debate on analysis. When we are dealing with such type of social problem, we always blame our government. But what I believe, rules are there, regulations are there, law is there, and definitely there are certain laws dealing with these indoor policy. The issue is when we are only focusing on government, we are only focused on macro level analysis, or we are only going to blame individuals. So the missing link is meso level analysis, where we deal with community, where we deal with organization, where we deal with neighborhood, where we deal with schools, college, universities. So definitely, government, we always talking about trickle-down applications. When mega projects are there, definitely we should deal with trickle-down policies, and we should blame the government. But here it's come to bottom-up approach. The role of community, the role of parents, the role of neighborhood, the role of teachers, students, community overall, religious scholars, that does matter. So rules are there, regulations are there. We can't give a such, for example, a journal or journal statement that there is no rule in Pakistan. Definitely we are the signatory of international treaties. Rules are there, but the only issue is implementation, strong governance. And I would add my earlier sentence that structural problems need structural solutions. We can't only force people through our advices or just teachings, so we need strong implementation of law as well. So definitely, on this point, I agree with this, your question, that government should strictly implement because rules are there. So, but we don't only rely on government, the role of community is more important, I think so. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I just add on to this one? So in terms of implementation for anything, so if you want to implement something, the first thing is it is really important, as we have already heard, is community empowerment. And Dr. Sarwar has already mentioned about this thing. So what we can do is not only depending on the policies there, as Sarah has mentioned, but if we don't take action from ourselves, it's really difficult. So community empowerment is really important. If they think is, yes, they can change, they can realize, at first they need to know, yes, this is a problem for me, then they can take action. And the other thing is political commitment is really important. So advocacy like OIC Comstek can do, universities can do. And each of you, as you are here, you have heard of this thing. You can be the changing agent. You can go to your community, you can go to your family and do the change. So it can start from the very basic level from us, and then we can depend on the other resources. Thank you.
I would like to add to this that data-driven decision-making is very important. If we don't have reliable data, we cannot take such decisions. I think for Indian air pollution, for specifically Pakistan, we don't have enough data to rationalize such a policy for implementation. So, in fact, for other countries also, we should have enough data to rationalize a policy for that.
Yeah, that emphasizes on research, because if we don't have the research data, it's very difficult. If you allow me, I can just give one example from Australian context. So in Australia, besides the tobacco, vaping all on a sudden started very chaotically among all the school children. They started doing the vaping, and Australian government was struggling to do this thing. Then what the researcher did, they did the research, where do they get this vaping, and then how they can prevent the adolescent and the young people to access this vaping. Once the research is there, publication is there, then I'm also the Vice President of Public Health Association of Australia. We advocated the minister, we advocated the lobbyists to tell, look, this is the evidence, now we need to take actions. Now what happened after having this evidence? Australian government has banned all the social media exposure to anyone below 16 years of age. They can't access this thing because social media was one of the source of this vaping product. They stopped selling vaping product anywhere else. You need to have a prescription to get the vaping product. So the policy implementation happened based on the research. So if you don't have the data, it's really difficult to convince people, because really I think so, it doesn't affect to change the policy. So I think it is really important. So for indoor air pollution in Pakistan, if we don't have the data, so probably we need to start doing the research first and then try to do the advocacy. Thank you.
Would you like to comment on the question that if it is such a serious risk for us, then why not the government is contributing or taking serious actions or designing policy in terms of building awareness from Philippines?
Okay. Definitely, governments in different nations may have implemented laws. There are existing policies. But you know what? I would like to point out something cultural. There are many practices, traditions that is so hard to break. That's why we need, our students of today to help us disseminate the information. We have to look into ways that we could reach out to the multitude, to the other members of our community, to tell them in such ways that they could understand that it's about time. We should not be waiting for laws, regulations, implementations to reach to us, but at our level, as students, we can come up with activities to engage our communities, to tell them that, hello, there are practices that needs to be stopped, and maybe there are alternative ways how to do cooking or how to engage in household chores that will lessen the impact or the effect of indoor air pollution. Thank you.
Sir Aditi, you are requested to engage on the question of the
Yes.
students.
Yes, thank you very much for the question. I think I agree with other speakers that I believe that government have already effort in decreasing the number of air pollution problem. But for academician perspective, I think it's a good opportunity for us to support the government. So like mentioned by Prof. Aziz, that it's a good opportunity for us to make a research and community development program. When we do a research, we will get the evidence, so we will show it to the government, and we can make the policy brief to support and to help the government how to improve their program. And one another things is about community empowerment. We believe that government, university cannot work alone. We have to empower the community. So we can approach the community leader or opinion leader, then they can work with us together to
And your
face the problem.
organizations are clear example of collaboration, that how they are building awareness, not in their own communities, but around the globe as well. Thank you very much. So we will take another question from the floor. Audience, please. Okay.
First of all, my name is Ariba Aruj, and I'm currently pursuing my degree in international relations. So basically, my question is regarding the low-income families in Pakistan. As we know that right now, Pakistan is a home to around 25 to 45% such families that are living near or under the poverty line. So I just want to ask that, are those low-income families are forced to live in polluted indoor environments because cleaner options are too expensive for them? Because we often fail to consider them in our policies. This is my question, and anyone from the panel can answer this question. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you for the question. I think this links back to the previous discussion. And like I argued earlier, that I would put the responsibility on us, because this is a class issue, right? And if it's a class issue, then definitely, to bring, a whole lot of people, population, like I spoke about slums earlier on, out of poverty, policies are not enough. I mean, policies are great, but then you need much more, So it's a very complex issue, So why are so many people around the globe poor, So why do we define poverty in a certain way, So the poverty line debate is great, and I think, our colleagues from the development sector will be, and Dr. Tokir, who comes from development studies, would address this more. But to me, I think that it's more about what we are doing to bring ourselves out of that, particular class in which you are, because there are many ways. How do we go for upward mobility, are you educating them? So what the government can actually do is perhaps, to provide free education. That's what they can do. Or we are not a welfare state, of course. If we were, then we could have given them more opportunities or benefits to get out of those, sort of situations in which they are living. But I think, there is a lot more which needs to be done, and it connects back to all the discussions which we're having earlier on, on what needs to be done, at what level, Dr. Tokir spoke about meso level, and then, of course, at grassroots level, there there are so many things which can be done. So it's not just, making policies. Making policies is very easy, but there are so many laws, in Pakistan which are still not implemented. So if you have laws and if you cannot implement them, there's no, utility of those laws. So I think we should, and as educators, taking advantage of this forum and arguments, I think each of us needs to, like it was said earlier on, that convey that message, what we can do, there could be, many things which you can do as students, volunteering, helping them out, with their education. So I think these small steps are very important in holistically thinking about, what more can be done. Thank you.
Can I again? Excuse
Can
me.
I just answer to you in addition to what Madam has said? If we just think of some practical solutions for this thing, someone in a very poor environmental situation, they can't afford the clean energy. I understand this thing. But what they can do, they can change the habit. They can change the cooking place outside of their room. So the pollution is not inside. So that is number one. Number two, I will say, in terms of passive smoking exposure, rather they can save money if they can prevent smoking of their husband inside the home. So they can stop doing these things. If they can change the ventilation and all of these things, at least they can change these things. They can remove the children while cooking. So I think some of the steps doesn't cost any money, but at first they need to understand it is a problem. So knowledge is power, and then they can probably do the changes.
Again, DG Sab. Okay. I think it's everybody in here is think about the mindset. Okay, I think the mindset and habit and the support of government. I think it is difficult because in Pakistan, like Indonesia, many problems, many issues, but this is our responsibility. Just only awareness to everybody, and the young must aware about the air pollution. After back to your home, look about around you and what you want to do. Okay.
Can I please? Please just give me a chance.
Okay.
So in IR, we learn about the 3 levels of analysis that start from the individual level and then to state level and then to systematic level. So you are talking about the government policies, all right. So there are a lot of policies, there are laws regarding this, but where is the implementation? That's the question, all right. We often say that our government is doing very well, they have a lot of policies and laws, but where are the laws, where are the policies when our people need us? Sir, you mentioned that thing that they should do something on like their own level. Yeah, it's a responsibility of every individual to at least play their own role, their responsibility regarding this issue. But in Pakistan, we know the level of illiteracy and the child rebel as well. Because of the floods and many other pandemics, how people suffer and then they are left in such situations where they can't even afford the education for their children. So
Please
their children
be brief to your question, briefly,
right.
and to the point.
So what about those children? How we can say that they should do something, they should do these things? Because they don't know. Nobody tells them, nobody teaches them.
This is where you have been asked to become an agency, to build awareness. So,
yeah, no, I think the important issue is, even for the poor people, the love and affection for the child is not less compared to rich people, right? So they need to understand that it is impacting on their children. And being a woman, I am being affected by the passive smoking of my husband. So they need to understand this. Even someone, sane person will understand their own health and well-being. So once they understand this thing, they will take action. The challenge is, if they don't know this thing, then they can't take action. And we can't expect this thing. And we are saying about the policies on all of this thing. There are lots of policies. If you just think of this thing, smoke-free policies are there. But do people comply with these things? So policy is not going to work if people don't feel that it is their problem. So even the poor people, if they understand this, their problem, they are impacting. During the COVID pandemic, everyone was really aware, they thought of doing this thing because they can see the impact immediately. But for this indoor air pollution, for any chronic disease, impact is really long lasting. So they can see the impact after 20 years. So this is the thing they need to understand. If they understand this thing, then they can take action.
And we all know after COVID that indoor air pollution is so significant that we had to separate from each other. So communicable and non-communicable diseases all takes away. And we have been suffering from this indoor air pollution decades in our indoor air. Yet we have not realized that this is more significant than outdoor pollution. Outdoor pollution might increase or decrease, but the indoor pollution decrease is demanding your effort. It requires your conscious behavior change.
Sorry for interrupting. Chief guest is about to join us. Director General, Islamabad Campus, Rear Admiral Name Server Sitara-e-Imtiaz Military.
So I would like to thank my panelists, and what we have learned, I sum up that awareness alone is not enough. Behavioral change is essential. Vulnerabilities are shaped by gender, class, and living conditions, and solutions require multi-level collaboration, individual, community, and policy. So my deepest gratitude to all the esteemed guests from different communities, and representing here from Australia, Indonesia, Philippines, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. They have collaborated on increased awareness on indoor air pollution. So I end my session, first session on indoor air pollution with the tagline that air we breathe indoor matters more than ever. Now the rostrum.
Thank you, ma'am. This is the moment to respectfully invite the chief guest of the symposium, Director General, Islamabad Campus, Rear Admiral, Name Server Sitara-e-Imtiaz Military, to graciously come to the podium and address the audience.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I think I should have been here since start of this symposium, but unfortunately I had a lot of other commitments and I could not join right from the start and came in between in the middle of the symposium. Please do excuse me, and I would formally deliver a few words to all our guests and the students and faculties. First of all, selamat datang untuk semuanya Bapak-bapak, Ibu-ibunya dari Indonesia, Islam and Malaysia. Aku alumni dari Lemhanas di Indonesia. Terima kasih. Distinguished guests, respected colleagues, dear students, Assalamu alaikum, and a very warm welcome to all of you. It truly gives me great pleasure to see such a wonderful gathering here today for this important symposium on increased awareness on indoor pollution. I would like to begin by appreciating everyone who has contributed to making this event possible, the organizers, partners, and of course, all of you who have taken the time to be here. Indoor pollution is often called the invisible threat, not because it is minor, but because it quietly affects our health, our families, and our future without always being seen. From household fuels and poor ventilation to modern lifestyle factors, the air inside our homes, offices, and institutions can sometimes be more hazardous than the air outside. Awareness is not built in a single session, and change does not come from a single event. It comes from continuity, from repeatedly engaging, reasoning, learning, and improving. If we truly want to address indoor pollution, then initiatives like this symposium must continue, evolve, and expand. They must reach beyond these walls into our daily practices, our teaching, our research, and our communities. And this is where collaboration becomes essential. Today's discussions have made one thing very clear: awareness is the first and most powerful step toward change. When people understand the risks, they begin to ask questions. When they ask questions, they begin to make better choices. Whether it is improving ventilation, adopting cleaner energy sources, or simply being mindful of everyday practices. But awareness alone is not enough. It must lead to action. Each one of us here has a role to play. As professionals, we can advocate for better standards and policies. As educators, we can pass this knowledge to our students, and as individuals, we can start within our own homes, because change, like clean air, begins close to us. I would also like to acknowledge the valuable contributions of our speakers, organizers, and participants. Your insights and engagement have made this symposium meaningful and impactful. Before I conclude, let me leave you with a simple thought. We may not always see the air we breathe, but we can certainly shape its quality. Let us commit today not just to awareness, but to responsibility, action, and sustained effort toward healthier indoor environments. I would once again like to thank all our distinguished speakers, our collaborators, and each one of you for being part of this important conversation. Your presence here today is not just participation, it is a commitment. I hope that as we move forward with today's session, we do not just listen, but reflect, not just discuss, but act, and most importantly, that we carry this awareness with us beyond today. Thank you all for your presence. Wishing you safe journeys and cleaner air ahead. Thank you very much.
I now respectfully re-invite our chief guest, Rear Admiral Naim Server, Sitara-e-Imtiaz Military, to kindly present the shield to our guest of honor, Professor Dr. Ni Nayomin, Executive Secretary, WUACD Indonesia, as a token of appreciation.
Now, I request the presence of our chief guest, Director General Islamabad Campus, Rear Admiral Naeem Sarwar, Sitare-e-Imtiaz Military, and the guest of honor, Professor Dr. Neen Yaman, to present shields to our panelists. And we also request Professor Dr. Adam Saud to accompany Director General Islamabad Campus.
First, I would like to call Professor Dr. Aziz Rahman from Federation University, Australia, to receive a token of appreciation. Sir, you are requested to please come forward.
Next, we cordially invite Dr. Mahmood Aditya Rifki from Universitas Airlangga, Indonesia.
Next, we kindly invite Professor Faustito A. Ore from Eastern Visayas State University, Philippines.
Next, we cordially invite Dr. Tokir Hussain Shah from National University of Science and Technology, Islamabad.
Next, we invite Dr. Rabia Ali from International Islamic University, Islamabad.
Next, we have Professor Dr. Ritha Delimonth from Universitas Sumatra Utara, Indonesia. We would like to extend our invitation to her as well.
We now cordially invite Mr. Muhammad Haris Akram, Program Manager, OIC Comstech.
We now invite Dr. Muhammad Muttaqeen, Dean, Faculty of Social and Political Sciences, Universitas Airlangga, Indonesia.
We now invite Dr. Siti Hafsia Idris, University Technology, MARA, UITM, Malaysia.
We next invite Dr. Sudarso from University Erlangga, Indonesia.
Next, we extend our invitation to Dr. Muhammad Saud, Universitas Erlangga, Indonesia.
Next, we invite Dr. Naseem Khan Masood, Associate Professor, Department of Sociology, Allama Iqbal, Open University, Islamabad.
Next, we invite Dr. Adil Nasir, Assistant Professor, Department of Earth and Environmental Sciences, Bahria University, H11 Campus, Islamabad.
We now invite the Chief Organizer, Dr. Asiya Ashfaq, Bahria University, Islamabad.
Next, we invite the moderator of the session, Dr. Sohima Anzak, Bahria University, Islamabad.
And lastly, we extend our invitation to Professor Adam Saud, Principal, BH3S. In the end, our guest of honor, Professor Dr. Niniaman, will present a souvenir from WACD to the Director General, Islamabad Campus, Rear Admiral Naeem Sarwar Hilala Imtiaz Military. We extend our sincere gratitude.
Thank you to all our respected guests. Your presence has truly been an honor for us. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now take a short break for lunch and prayer.
You are requested to kindly proceed to the designated area. The break will be till 2 p.m., after which we will reconvene for session 2 in lecture 2, second floor of Quiet Block. And now we request all of the panelists to come on the stage for a group photograph.